Now is we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Portia to tell you more about student counseling services.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, and welcome you guys to USM. Welcome to your first year of a new chapter in your lives. I'm sure you guys have gotten plenty of information and plenty of warm welcomes from many departments throughout this week. So I won't keep you. I know it's Friday afternoon. So I'm going to give my little spiel, answer whatever questions you may have, and we're going to wrap this week up, all right? So if I could just share my screen to go over what we do, who we do it for, okay? All righty. Again, my name is Portia Granger. I am with Student Counseling Services. I am one of now maybe 6 licensed mental health professionals in our department. What you would pay maybe $150 to $200 an hour for, we do for you all for free. That's right, we're free, we're confidential. As long as you are an enrolled student, we are free for you. And when I say we're confidential, that simply means we don't report to anybody about anything. Anything you say stays with us so long as you are considered an adult. An adult is anybody that's 18 or older. But those of you who may be 17 or 16 even, we do have to get consent from your guardian before we can provide services for you. But if you're 18 or older, we keep it confidential. Now, there are some stipulations to that. If you report abuse of a child or a vulnerable adult, we're mandated by the state to report those things. If you report harm to self or others, we do have a duty to warn. It may not necessarily be to your parents, but we have to warn that person, and we have to warn the proper personnel to ensure the safety of all individuals involved. Outside of that, we don't report to parents, we don't report to your boo thing, we don't report to police, we don't report to the military. It all stays here with us. I know there was a question previously, does it follow you after college? No, all of your records stay here, and after a 7-year period, we shred it, so it all stays here. Now, we do have interns and externs who work in our department as part of their training. We do have 2 social work interns who will be joining us this year, and 2 psychology GAs who are under the supervision. The social work interns are actually under my supervision, and the psychology and GAs are under the supervision of our director. So if you decide to utilize our services and you're uncomfortable seeing a student, we would have somewhere for you to indicate that because we have plenty of licensed professionals here who can assist you. So what we do, we provide services. It's a portal for all counseling services for our campus. Basically, we get referrals from other agencies on campus who do not manage the more acute settings, but we also deal with other things such as anxiety, depression, homesickness, developmental stages, academic distress, time management, even to some more of the severe ones such as personality disorders, psychosis, if they fit our scope of treatment. If not, we do refer to other entities either on campus or in the community for further services. We evaluate these needs and we connect them with the proper support. We collaborate with student health services a lot, and particularly for medicinal support. We also collaborate with ODA, we collaborate with the psychology department, the marriage and family therapy department, and actually with the dean of students in student affairs. One of our mottos is life happens, let's talk about it. And life has certainly happened to each and every one of us, particularly in these last 6 months. It's been quite a change and quite a turmoil for a lot of us. So, as you enter college, there are 3 developmental tasks that you must undergo to be successful as a person, as a contributing citizen to whatever community you choose to relocate back to, and to yourself and your family and your friends. Those 3 developmental tasks include autonomy, identity, and relationship building. if I could take a few minutes to describe what each of those terms mean, autonomy simply means establishing your independence, who you are outside of your family members, outside of your affiliations before you came to campus. I always use the example, I was raised a preacher's kid, and my whole life was sitting around church. I mean, we did church 4 or 5 times a week. So I decided when I was a freshman here at USM that I wasn't going to church no more. I'm tired of church. I did enough church from 0 to 17 to last me the rest of my life. So I'm not going. Of course, that changed pretty quickly. But I wasn't going to church 4 days a week. I may only gone once. But that was my choice to make independent of my family members. And some of you may come across decisions like that as you start to establish who you are independently. And that comes with establishing your identity, which is the second bullet. Your identity is who you are outside of who your parents told you to be, or who your band director told you to be, or who your 4-H club said you were. You really begin to establish what you like, your values, your morals, your the things that you find important that may not necessarily have been to anybody else. And then, of course, relationship building. This is a pivotal time in your life where relationships are more essential than ever, especially now during this time of isolation and a lot of quarantining. It's really important to establish those relationships or capitalize on the relationships that you've already established. And some of you may live on campus, and even in that, this may be your first time living away from home. Some of your family relationships may become estranged because you don't have time to call mom 4 times a day. You may only have time to call her once a day. She may start to feel left out or like you don't need her anymore. So just reestablishing what that relationship looks like as you become as an adult. And this is the developmental stage that you're in that's called an emerging adult. A lot of times those high school relationships, they may become less prioritized in your lives, especially if you guys are not in the same institution, or maybe they didn't decide to go to college at all. It's some things they wouldn't understand that you may be going through that may call for less communication between the two of you. So balancing those relationships, including romantic relationships. Some of you may have left your romantic partner back home, or they went to another school, or even coming to the same school. Balancing that with your own majors and your own friends. So college is definitely about establishing or enhancing the relationships that you already have. So here's how we can help. This is what is called our stepped care approach. This actually is being modified as we speak. We're starting to collaborate with more entities and agencies on campus. So this will probably be updated in the near future. I'm thinking in the next week or so, we have to get it approved and whatnot. But so far, these are the 14 different steps or services that we offer. Eagle Cares has its own slide, so I'll go over that actually in about 2 slides. But we do have a Zen Room. Some students just need to come blow off some steam. They don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to process anything. They just need a place to relax and just blow off some steam. So they will come and sit in our Zen Room. We have massage chairs there. We have aromatherapy, clay art, sand art, biofeedback, bicycle desks, just all kinds of things to kind of help take your mind off whatever it is that was overwhelming. We do workshops here, groups, life coaching, trauma-informed yoga. The referral to the pain center is what is called our Mind Fit program. And that's where we incorporate physical exercise as a part of the treatment modality for specific mental health concerns, such as anxiety, depression, or trauma, anything trauma related. Referral to the CCAC, which is Community Counseling Assessment Clinic. And in actuality, that clinic, along with the clinical psychology clinic and the counseling psychology clinic, have merged and become one clinic. So we'll be referring to that merged entity as well. We do have a marriage and family therapy clinic here. That's usually where we like to refer students who seek couples counseling or family counseling. We don't typically do family counseling here. Again, you are considered an adult. So we don't necessarily see students and their parents or their siblings or anything like that, unless it's in consultation for the sake of the student that we're seeing. And of course, we provide individual counseling as well here. We do refer to community providers. Sometimes if what we're doing here is not intensive enough, we do refer to private practitioners or psychiatric groups, which is number 12. We actually have some new resources here in the community that we're excited about and we've begun using as well. There may come a time where we will have to contact your parents due to safety issues. If that's the case, we'll judge that on a case-by-case basis and determine from there if that's necessary. And then, of course, referring to psychiatric hospitals for further assessment. Again, those for those imminent concerns, those students who present to be a harm or threat to themselves or other people. All right, so let's turn the spotlight on some of our services. If you have your smart devices with you, you're probably actually streaming this on your smart device. So whenever you get a chance, Eagle Cares is an online platform where you can speak to trained listeners who can do what you may not want a formal or professional counselor to do. So we're not in the business of giving advice. What we do is help you make an informed decision by giving you different perspectives of the concerns that you present with and different tools, coping tools to manage that. These trained listeners may be more of a peer advisement type thing. Now, they're not counselors. They're not licensed practitioners. They're actually peers, people who are just like you, may be dealing some of the same things you're dealing with. What we've learned is actually statistics show that students are more likely to seek the advice of their peers before their family or any professionals. So what we've done was acquired a platform where you can do just that. You can download the free app. It's called 7 Cups. The username and password is below. The password is USM in all lowercase. And there's the address, usm.edu/Eagle Cares. Hit the sign up button and put in USM and then just go from there. It's actually pretty cool. I got an account just to see what it's like, and it's actually pretty cool. It has some modules and some self-help things you can look at as well. I spoke earlier about our Zen Room. This room here is half of our Zen Room. The other half is out of view. But again, we offer many different ways to relax and de-escalate. Sometimes we have sessions there, and then other times we have them in our office. This is the group room in the middle. The group room is where we hold our group sessions about different things. And then of course the art room is where we provide expressive therapy. We do a lot of collage work, painting, drawing, scrapbooking, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we'll leave the students in there to their own thoughts and time and come back and process after. And then sometimes I actually paint with the student, just depends. But none of this is on the menu right now, given the pandemic that we're in. Right now, we're really only offering telehealth services via Zoom for safety precautions. But hopefully one day we'll get back to seeing you all in the office setting. Some additional ways we can help. We do have a crisis or emergency services. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you can always call in. In more severe situations, we may ask that you walk in. Again, if there's imminent danger, meaning you're planning to hurt yourself or somebody else, we may ask you to walk in. Otherwise, we'll take the calls or take the emergencies over the phone. During the evening hours and the weekends, that's 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. on weekdays and 24/7 on weekends, we have what's called an on-call crisis line. And that line is for students who find it difficult to, like if you're in a panic attack or an upheaval or excessive crying and you can't come down, or if you're feeling unsafe, or if you know somebody who is unsafe, you would definitely use that number so that we can assist as much as we can. And that number is available, like I said, from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. during weekdays and 24/7 on weekends. And then of course we have outreach services, which is exactly what I'm doing now, where we come out and we speak on different topics to different people, different groups. Again, a lot of that is going to be virtual until further notice. But we still have different presentations that we can send out or whatnot. So if you're part of a group and you want us to come out to provide some clinical knowledge on what a particular concern, a lot of the groups are asking for how to manage stress during COVID, how to deal with COVID precautions and all the things that the pandemic has changed in our lives. That's a popular one. Other ones are depression and homesickness and things like that. So we provide that. And then of course, Let's Talk. Let's Talk is a program we use where we would set up shop throughout campus at different times, and students can just show up at that particular site and, you know, get counseling or consultation on the spot. No paperwork needed, no background needed, just pop in, get your needs met and leave. But again, that's kind of on ice right now until we figure out how we can manage that safely. Again, we do provide telehealth services, which is just like this. As a matter of fact, the remainder of our spring semester and all of our summer semester, and looks like all of our fall semester has been via Zoom, where we would sit and hold sessions just like I'm talking to you here. If you need more information about what we do and all that we do, you can always call this number, 601-266-4829. We'll get you contacted with someone who can speak to you and answer any questions, or you can email us at counseling.edu, usm.edu/counseling. Visit our site and we'll have our email address and everything there listed as well. Now, the telehealth services is specifically for students who are located in Mississippi. Doesn't necessarily have to be Hattiesburg, but it does have to be in Mississippi because across state lines, most of us are not licensed in all 50 states. Matter of fact, none of us are licensed in all 50 states. There are some of us who are licensed in surrounding states. But to keep down the confusion, you must be in Mississippi for us to service you with telehealth. And I think that may be all I have. You can follow us on Instagram at USM Student Counseling Center. I do think we have a Facebook page as well and a Twitter page, but I think that's under repair. So let me get back to you on that. And that's kind of what we do. Are there any questions about who we are? Does anyone have any questions right now that I can answer? Let me get to this Q&A. Do you guys help marriage couple therapy on Zoom? So that's a great question. We actually refer married couples, any couple really. Oh, I guess I should put that. So we actually refer married couples or any couple really to the Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic here on campus as their best fit to manage family and therapy concerns, given that that's their specific area of interest. Now, we can do it. We just like to refer to them to free up more space for us to see students who present with other issues. But it has been done.
Hey, Portia, we actually have another question that kind of connects to a comment that was in the chat. Our friend Samira is actually going to be in Reno, and so she's curious, or they're curious, how do you get virtual therapy? What are their options from Reno?
Reno, where's Reno?
Nevada. I'm assuming. Samira, am I correct? I believe so. She'll probably get to us in the chat.
Yeah, I was just kind of saying that we do have a requirement for students to be in the Mississippi state line for us to see them telehealth. Because again, we're not licensed in most states. I'm licensed in Mississippi and Texas and Tennessee. I have some coworkers who are licensed in Texas and Louisiana or Texas and, you know, so, but I don't think I don't think anybody's licensed in Nevada, Nebraska, any of those states. But what we can try to do is look up services in your area and kind of get you connected with services in your area. Now, during this pandemic, especially during the spring and the larger part of the summer, the governments did modify those stipulations for us so that we can see students across state lines, but each state has their own stipulation. And then I think a lot of those stipulations have been lifted because of the emergency ban has probably been lifted. So we really would have to check on that on a case by case basis.
Thank you. That's good to know. Do y'all have any other questions? I'm looking in the Q&A box right now and I don't really see anything. So want to give y'all one more minute to put any of your last questions that you may have.
I know some popular questions have been,
Mhm.
you know, if I have a prescription, how do I maintain my prescription when my physician is out of state or whatnot? Again, we do work with student health services who can help maintain that prescription. I do think there may be some stipulations with prescriptions across state lines, but we can connect with student health services to do that. Also, we collaborate, as I mentioned earlier, with other psychiatric groups in the community, and it could just be that we can transfer your services from where you used to get them to someone in the community to have more ease of access to refills and things like that.
That's super good to know. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I think Portia, I think that's all the questions they have.
So
Oh
no, we
wait.
got questions.
Do you have any text-based services? So a text line instead of a hotline?
Absolutely. So that Eagle Cares that I was telling you all about, that's definitely a text line. You can text. Again, it's not text to us because that's not our line, but you can text to those peer listeners for services like that. Now, our agency in particular, we don't have a text line because, well, that's liability for us. I mean, if you report safety concerns via text and then fall off the map, you know, and then something happens, that's our license because all we have is a text. So we don't particularly practice that here. But that Eagle Cares Seven Cups app is just for that. Good question.
All righty. That might be it.
Somebody wrote, I don't think I understand. Oh, you wrote
Oh,
that.
Samira, you mentioned university student insurance. I'm not sure.
There is an insurance that the university offers for students. I want to say it's for grad students though.
I think I know, Portia, I think you're correct. Yeah. I think undergraduate students have to opt out of that. So I do think you're correct in that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't think there's an insurance offered through the university for undergraduate students.
Mm-hmm. And you can contact Moffitt Health Center as well to see what insurance providers they accept. I think that would also be a good next step for you.
Absolutely. And if you don't have insurance, I do think Moffitt Health either works with you on a scale or connects you with services that do the same thing.
There we go. Awesome. Well, we're gonna hang out here for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna play some tunes. That is our program, Portia. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. If you do have any lingering questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. We'll hang out here for a minute. And as you're exiting, I'll play some Weekend because that's what we're headed into.
Hey.